Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the podcast Strikes Back. My name is George and you're listening to the weekly movie show with the boys Connor.
Hello.
Benny.
Hi everybody.
Super Bowl week is here. We've got a ton of trailers. Stay tuned, people. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you for joining us. We've got a ton of news. Question of the week as well at the end. But let's catch up on what everyone has been watching. Connor.
I'll go first.
Let's do this.
All right. So first, really quick shout out. I finished Game of Thrones season 6 and 7, so we're all caught up. Well, I was always caught up, but my girlfriend wasn't, so we plowed through 6 and 7, which is really good.
She enjoyed it?
She did, yeah. So did I, actually. It was really good rewatching it. I kind of wish I had started from season 1 because I didn't think I'd be getting through it this quickly. But I don't have any impulse control, so I just me binge watching shows.
How long have we got to the new season?
Like at least a month, 2 months, 2.5 months, something like that. Like I could have easily gone from season 1. Yeah, so, like I figured like
you pumped through that fast, man.
Oh, so like I have no seriously no control. But yeah, we've let kittens in this weekend into the studio, and it's
Come on, display yourself.
It's genuinely
display yourself.
Remember the pod.
It's a very distracting thing. Yeah, but like when I was doing it, I kept thinking about Ben. Put the cat down.
I didn't pick it up,
George.
Boy,
nothing's gonna get done if we've got cats on the table. Like we're just
made it to the panel. Whoa.
I'm not going to be listening to you anyway.
I know very well. All I was thinking about was what George had said about things getting too fantastical, and I mean they really ramp it up. In
I have no basis
seasons.
For
yeah. Well, I mean
either.
you're not wrong, and like but it kind of it was at the back of my head, and I kept thinking about it, but I thought that it only added to it. Like I think it kept a lot of the intrigue. The last season doesn't have a lot of the kind of telltale. I don't know, kind of doesn't hit a lot of the things that a lot of Game of Thrones seasons hit, which seems a bit of a departure, but it kind of is a breath of fresh air within the series.
Yeah, I guess it needs to evolve and change and keep your intrigue. And
I feel like season 6, I think it was, in my very vague memory, was the one that really felt like it was spinning its wheels before they caught up to the end of the books. And then season 7, I'm sorry if I'm getting these numbers wrong, but I think there was one season where they were definitely just like, we don't have any more material. And then this next season, they were like, fuck it. We're just doing everything.
I think it might have been 5 and 6 even.
Yeah, whatever it was. But I wasn't so into it. But then when they were just like, okay, we're gonna do
a lot of shit started
like
happening at once.
The show's gonna become like it's gonna take over.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
So watch that. Also watched Trigger Warning with Killer Mike.
oh, nice.
Yeah, so Killer Mike's from Run the Jewels. Which is a really cool band, but he's also very outspoken.
Hip-hop.
Yeah.
Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
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 That's Killer Mike.
That seems like your kind of wheelhouse there, Ben. But he's incredibly outspoken, a very kind of avid black activist. And so, but I was going into this, I had seen the trailer for it, and
What is it?
It's basically his show about his brand of activism. It's largely about black activism.
But each episode has a theme, right?
Yeah, there's a theme. So like the example is like the first one is he tries to live within the black community for 3 days, financially speaking. So it's he can only purchase or spend money on things that are black owned or black grown, or I mean he goes to a restaurant that is black owned and black operated, but can't eat there because
they don't source from
black farms. So, but I mean, I watched the trailer and I kind of forced myself to watch this because I like Killer Mike and I thought the premise looked pretty cool, but I kind of hate people spewing that kind of political rhetoric. It just seems more listen to me than actually trying to fix any problem. And I watched it, and that's exactly what it is. But it's so much of that it's actually entertaining. I don't know how to classify this. I don't know how to do this series justice. It's such a weird fucking series. I can't help but recommend it. just because I think that people should make their own minds up about it. I mean, it's almost satire how kind of over the top it is, but undeniably entertaining. Like, he's a super charismatic guy, and you kind of get this, like, just whether you agree or disagree with what he's saying, you can't help but kind of be entertained by the way that he's saying it.
Yeah, I listened to him on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he is a very interesting character. And subsequently, I went and listened to some of the Run the Jewels albums, and it's really good hip hop. Like,
is that something you've just come into recently?
Yeah, well, I mean, he was only on a week ago.
Okay, yeah.
So, no, he's a very interesting character. He really loves the Second Amendment, which always makes me a bit nervous. But, you know, it is what it is. He's a great musician. Sounds like an interesting
controversial
series.
Opinions.
He really does. He really does.
But it's kind of great because he embraces that and he just goes full bore with it. And like I said, just check out the series. I mean, my suggestion would be don't go in with any expectations and just let it carry you on for the ride, and definitely stick with it, you know, for a couple of... There's only like 5 episodes, 6 episodes. It's super... we can't have cats in the studio, man. This is a rookie mistake.
We can't have George in the studio with the cats in here.
We got rid of George. We lost him. But yeah, I recommend check it out. Now, something else I watched was, and also this is because I have no self-control. I pumped through season 1 and 2 of Norseman on Netflix.
Norseman.
It's like a almost a parody of Vikings.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, like little half-an-hour episodes, really easy to get through. It's produced, like, it's all, I think they're Finnish actors, or like Norwegian actors. Sorry, it's absolutely fantastic. It's such a dry type of humor that they have. So I mean, it's one of those things where watch the first episode and you'll kind of get a taste for how the rest of the season is going to go. And if you love the first episode, stick with it. It's just more of that. If that's not the kind of humor for you, then it's not going to change. Like, it's not going to get any better or worse or anything like that. It's just like, that's what you're in for.
Do you have to have watched Vikings to?
No.
Okay,
it's not an actual parody. It just that's the vibe of it.
Cool.
It's the same kind of aesthetic, but is very much a comedy, dry, like sitcom comedy type thing.
Yep.
Some fantastic acting in it, like just in terms of comedic acting, really funny guys, and just the writing's so brilliant.
I remember seeing it on Netflix ages ago, and just because of the font, I thought it was Norse Seaman. And was very confused. And then looked it up and saw it was just the way it's written. I don't know if you've seen that from the logo, but that's all I could say. And then reading it was comedy and being like, okay, that's fine now. Yeah. They can survive that.
Yeah, check it out. Ben, I think that you would really enjoy that style of comedy. It's super dry.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, give it a good. And it's really interesting seeing one of those shows portrayed with accents that are actually that accent. Like, all the actors, I'm pretty sure all the actors are like Norwegian or whatever, they're like some kind of one of those Baltic or Scandinavian countries. Yep. Some Aussie trying to act as though he's Norwegian.
Not just everyone being British like every other historical
exactly,
era.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of those certain words that are very much in that language are very, like, you just clearly like, oh, these people know how to pronounce that shit. It's not someone that's practiced 10 times. And then finally, I rewatched Zombieland.
I've been meaning to do that.
We've been told that we're getting the new Zombieland coming out relatively soon. I think is it this year?
Yeah,
it'll be released.
Yeah, 2019. Yeah.
So sat down and rewatched that.
How'd it hold up? 10 years down the line.
Not as great as, like, I mean, my memory has it in such a beautiful kind of. Yeah, it's just kind of
rose tinted glasses.
Exactly. But having said that, still pretty damn good. Like, it's a very solid film.
That is that review for me is, do not watch fucking Zombieland again. Remember how it was and just leave it at that.
I mean, I would say watch it again, because the enjoyment that you get from rewatching it certainly outweighs the kind of moment of, oh, this is like a really young Jesse Eisenberg, and just like it's the cameo that everyone loves holds up 100%. It's still the greatest thing of the film, and it's worth watching the entire film just for that cameo alone.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm never going to watch Zombieland again.
Oh, I mean, do it, don't it? It's a very easy watch though. Like it's an hour and a half film, if that.
The rules are funny. How he's running around in the petrol station.
Yeah, I feel like that movie's kind of one of diminishing returns somewhat. Like it's great setup, and he's really interesting at first, and by the third act, I feel like that movie really fizzles out.
Yeah, I can't
even at the
remember
time,
really what
like there's like
happens.
no climax to it.
Yeah.
There's a Ferris wheel,
Yeah.
and there's not. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Uh,
How about you, Benny?
Zombie movies are tough. I've had a big week, or more specifically, a big day. I had a day off today, and I just sat on the couch and watched like 4 movies.
Hell yeah. It's a day well spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a day spent.
Dude, it's a movie podcast. Come on.
The sun wasn't out. I couldn't go to the beach. So the other day, I watched a new DC or newish DC original animated film, Suicide Squad: Hell to Pay.
I've seen that on the Netflix.
Yep. It's super violent, kind of grindhouse themed Suicide Squad movie.
Violence means good, right?
Yeah, it's
Every
edgy
time.
and dark. No, it was pretty crappy, to be honest. But judged on the scale of these movies, it was, I would say, just okay. Not as good as the last Suicide Squad one, I think. Probably still better than the live action one. Don't really recommend it though. But it did get me to rewatch Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox, which is one from a few years back before they started this single continuity in their animated films. It kind of, just as Flashpoint did in the comics reboot the universe, it kind of rebooted their animated films.
Okay.
Sort of. So it set off this whole new thing.
Nice.
Fucking fantastic. Possibly the best animated, straight to DVD film they've made. The animation is so far and beyond what they're normally capable of. They must have just had a much bigger budget on that because, the talent's there, but normally just the finesse isn't in these movies sometimes.
Yeah.
I cannot recommend this one highly enough if you're wanting to check out something DC that you haven't seen before. Very cool story. Very well put together.
Yeah, it's funny, just quickly piggybacking off that and on a tangent, I think it's funny that a lot of people say, the CG was terrible in this movie or the animation was terrible. And typically it's not about talent, it's about time. It's do they have enough capital to pay these guys for their time in the desk?
Yeah,
And
because
oftentimes they don't.
You're not out there in Hollywood being a professional animator and not being good at your job.
Yeah,
they're all
exactly.
fantastic. They're artists.
Yeah.
They just get put under bad situations.
And they just have
sometimes.
to hit export because we've got a deadline.
What was that BBC, the rabbit one? Was that just a
that does not apply. That does not apply. What was it? Watership Down.
Oh, that's a shame. That was.
That actually scares me. I get shivers
Who
about
releases that shit?
that. Yeah, BBC.
There was a movie like that.
BBC, you're done.
Calling you out.
I couldn't tell you what it was called to save my life. It was about birds, I'm pretty sure. But it was a couple.
Oh, the South African one. I remember that.
Yeah, it had some big names in it as well.
Yeah, Samuel L.
But
Jackson and stuff.
Also,
Yeah.
like,
that was
shockingly
terrible.
bad.
The CG was terrible.
What are you guys talking about?
It was a movie from few years ago. It was an animated movie. I'm going to say 2013, 2014.
Because my first thought was The Owls of Gahul.
No. That's
I actually
Zack
quite like
Snyder
that
thing.
film.
Yeah, I don't know about that movie. Yeah.
sorry to hijack
The animation on that, if nothing else, was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
On the Owls of
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
Anyway, next up, I had the privilege of watching a week early the new Liam Neeson film called Pursuit.
Nice.
Which is a remake of In Order of Disappearance, a Norwegian film, I think, by the same director, which is always an interesting situation. A lot of fun. Just a really cool kind of black comedy revenge film. Liam Neeson's fantastic in it.
Speaking of black comedy.
No, we're not. It's not mind blowing, but worth a watch if you get the chance. And then today I watched a couple of movies. I checked out Poltergeist, the remake from 2015, with Sam
that's
Rockwell.
right, yeah.
It very much slipped under the radar of everyone.
I purposely didn't watch that.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's felt when it was done, I quite liked it from the beginning, but when it was all said and done, it reminded me so much the feeling of the remake of RoboCop and Total Recall and
That's not a bad thing.
whatever. Well, that's it. It's fine. It's quite proficient even. But it's been done. Had those originals not existed, I think it'd be pretty well regarded.
Yep.
It was decent.
Okay.
But not really any point watching it
How
when
was
the
the
original
tree?
exists. The tree was there. It was a tree.
Okay.
Not like they actually kind of took a few different turns in there, but yeah, not really worth watching when the original exists.
Yep.
I then checked out Edge of 17, starring Haley Steinfeld from a couple years back. Just a very emotional kind of high school drama. A bit deeper and darker than your usual kind of more aimed at kids sort of one. Like felt very autobiographical. Really, really good. And pretty intense in parts.
There was a movie from last year that I missed.
8th grade.
Yeah.
From
Did
Bo
you
Burnham.
see that?
No, I have not yet. I cannot wait. It looks
I would
amazing.
really like to see that.
Bo Burnham, the director, is a comedian. Check him out. He's fucking amazing.
Have you seen his live show?
Yeah.
It's one of the better.
Really?
One of the
Okay,
better.
He's
live
not
shows.
afraid to just go on a monologue that has no joke. Like he will just start
Nice.
talking and being really sincere and
Earnest.
beautiful. It's amazing.
Cool.
Yeah, it's weird. Like there's he never, I think, misses a beat in terms of you don't feel like any of this is out of place. Like he never has his audience kind of going like, "What?" It's never jarring.
But he's not just like
But
joke.
Yeah,
joke.
it's not your typical comedy
Oh, he's
show.
profound. He brought me to tears in one of his shows that I watched recently.
You know what he kind of reminds me of is Tim Minchin, who's the Australian
he's a musical comedian. as well, so.
comedian.
Yep.
Yeah, but Bo Burnham got his start on Vine.
Huh.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, you'd
The
recognize
good
him.
old days.
That makes sense.
You'd recognize him from that, I'll bet, if nothing else.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a popular guy that was a YouTube Vine type of star. But yeah, his stuff after Vine was pretty good.
Hell yeah.
Comes off as very pretentious though.
Any Bill Hicks fans here? Stand
Eh.
up? No?
Eh.
Never really checked him out. No.
Okay. Highly recommend it. If you in the mood for something trippy and a bit psychedelic.
I could add to what I had watched was I watched the new Gabrielle Iglesias, the new Fluffy stand-up. I mean, if you like
Don't make me
Fluffy
sad.
and his previous
Don't make me
7
sad, man.
stand-up comedy bits, then you'll probably enjoy this. I think what he gets off of, like, I mean, he just comes across as a genuinely good person, and I think that just carries his entire act forward. Like,
No.
I mean, he's definitely funny, but like just the fact that he just seems like a really nice person, you're like, all right,
Give a
I'll
dog a
watch
bone.
another one
Yeah,
of yours.
pass.
Give a dog a
Yeah.
bone.
After that, I watched
Lord.
John Bernthal film from a couple of years ago, Sweet Virginia.
Okay.
Kind of a crime thriller type deal. Very, I don't know, your Hell or High Water kind of deal.
Right.
Cold River or Wind River, sorry.
Oh.
Really,
love me
really
some
good.
Wind River.
Really good. Very, very solid. John Bernthal, I think, is one of the greatest actors of his generation, and I think before he's all said and done, people will acknowledge that.
Yep.
And also, it had an antagonist in it that I thought was just really a cut above, like well worth watching just for that. And then finally, I checked out the Sofia Coppola film, The Bling Ring, starring Hermione Granger.
Yeah.
About the true story of the teenagers in Hollywood who went around robbing rich people's homes, like Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton and whatnot.
Yeah, what was the that? I can't even remember how that was received when it came out. I think it was a bit
Mixed,
lackluster.
kind of like all of Sofia Coppola's films generally. But it was an interesting watch. I mean, it's a funny story. Of the 4 movies I watched today, I think that was the most depressing, honestly. Just the fucking
Nihilistic kind of.
yeah, the fucking soulless creatures that are the
Yeah.
protagonists of that film. It's amazing. And that was me.
Nice.
Wow.
Let me grab up my list. I chucked on Spotlight, which is the 2015 investigative thriller where Michael Keaton and a suite of amazing characters investigate the Catholic Church and what goes on behind closed doors. A really fascinating watch, and definitely gives you a little bit of hope in terms of journalism. You know, journalism these days is very much... I don't think people give anyone much credit. I think it's all clickbaity stuff.
Only 90s kids.
Only 90s, only
Yeah.
90s, bro. It just shows you how much work is required to put one article together. You know, it's a really
one good
fascinating
article.
watch. Yes, and a thorough article. You know, it's an editorial. It's a big piece, but
I always kind of hope that those types of films will motivate current journalists to do better.
it's often the confines of the job, or there's always agendas, and you're being told what to write. You don't have a lot of autonomy to really pump out the work that you want to do. So I really enjoyed this film. I highly recommend it. It's
just the very end before the credits. That was fucking
man,
demolishing.
Yeah, it is distressing in a lot of spots, but very, very well put together and
required viewing.
I think honest as well. I don't think it's trying to really show an agenda or anything. I think it's really just telling a story. Okay, so that was Spotlight. Next up, I watched 2 episodes of The Punisher.
Oh, wow.
Season 2. I think this is quite good.
Hey.
I enjoyed episode 1. I think just going off what you said, Benny, Bernthal is captivating to watch.
Yeah.
He really sells it. So I'm going to try and watch this whole thing.
Ben, do you want to put bets on how far he gets?
I think he's done.
Yeah,
he's done.
I think he'll make.
If he hasn't watched 6 episodes in the first 2 days, it's all over.
Yeah, I think 1, maybe 2 episodes left in him.
Okay, let's see.
Have you been on it?
No, I haven't touched it yet. So
okay.
I've got a couple of things that I want to get through next. We just finished Game of Thrones. Girlfriend's never seen Justified. I'm going to push that pretty hard.
Hell yeah.
Because I'd love to go through that again.
Me too.
I'm enjoying it. So sad to say that this is probably quite possibly the last time we see Punisher in this shape and form. We'll see how we go. And then the last thing I watched this week was Fire, that documentary that everyone's talking about on Netflix. This is basically about this festival wherein they created this amazing marketing scheme with all these influencers and models, and then they could not fulfill the product and the service. They could not make this festival happen. And
it's a disaster.
It is a fascinating watch. Honestly, it is just incredible. And the decision-making process these people go through, I mean, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. This guy's $25 million in debt. I mean, it's a crazy story. Highly, highly recommend it. Especially, I work in marketing, so it was really interesting to see how good the marketing was, but then he just did not deliver on this end. So it's a fantastic watch. I think you'll get a kick out of it, Connor. I highly recommend it. And we also watched Velvet Buzzsaw. I mean, 2 of us did. So,
I'm so pissed
Connor's
off.
dodged another scary movie.
I got home last
Keanu
night and I knew I had something to do and I could not think of what it was. So I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to bed. And it wasn't until I got here today that I was like, fuck.
Movie.
We're a review podcast.
I do a movie podcast. I should probably watch movies. I was pissed off that I missed that, actually.
Don't worry. It's all good. We'll forgive you this time. But guys, we got that review up right about now. So go check that out. It's just me and Benny on that one. So probably won't get in a war. You never know. You never fucking know.
You're on, mate.
All right, let's get into the news. Before we get into the trailers, I'm excited.
We had a lot of news kind of drop directly after we recorded last week.
As is the way.
Always, we got to find another new day. So starting up, we've got a lot of DC news. Some stuff we've been waiting on for a long time, such as Ben Affleck will not return for Matt Reeves The Batman, which we've got a release date for June 25th, 2021.
I saw a brilliant headline, which was that Ben Affleck fulfills lifelong dream of not playing Batman.
Yeah, so good.
Which is so true, yeah.
At this point, I'm just watching him in Justice League recently. He just looks like he wants to do anything else. He just wants out.
It sucks that he didn't get his own movie, though. I mean, if you think about it, like Ben Affleck was supposed to do and direct. He was supposed to direct the Batman. This was the guy.
And we're all very excited about it.
At that stage, he was the Argo director. He was the town director. It was fucking Ben Affleck. And he's just the perception in popular culture right now is kind of like he's just kind of going through a really bad patch. Well, and it's sad to see. Because I was really looking forward to that.
There's a lot of hate that I don't understand in terms of Ben Affleck, and I think that
Since his early days, yeah.
Yeah, if you look at
all the terrible movies he's been in.
Well, I mean, if you look at his highs, like his good work, he's a really talented actor and he's a really talented director. And I think that I don't think he gets his well, for some people, I don't think he gets enough.
He gets a lot of credit. God, how many Academy Awards has he been thrown? I would say I've never liked him as an actor. Never loved him as an actor. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I think he's extremely overrated as a director. So I would so much rather have Matt Reeves on this than him.
Do you not enjoy The Town?
I think The Town's pretty decent, and I like Gone Baby Gone. Nothing else though.
I think he's a better director than actor. I think I like him a lot more.
Very much so, which says
you.
what I think of how he's acting.
Yeah.
But now sadly, after all said and done, he's done. He's got one of the worst Batman tenures of all time. I mean, like,
but
I think Kilmer was better. People's mileage will vary hugely on that.
Sure.
I will get crucified for that. But Clooney, he's got to be the bottom, I guess.
Yeah.
Just because of the movie he's in, even though he suits the tone of that film, I guess. He's kind of a fun Bruce Wayne.
There's a lot about those films that's kind of bad but oddly charming.
Yeah.
Like you look back on it and be like, oh, that was a decent time.
Whereas Affleck has 3 appearances. And arguably all 3 films are horrible.
What's the cameo?
Justice League, Suicide Squad, and BVS.
He's in Suicide Squad.
And he's he's not the problem in any of those films. But overall, in terms of quality, he's probably had the worst movies.
So not only did he not get to direct the Batman film that he signed on for, but he didn't get a Batman movie.
Yeah.
He's in Batman v Superman and he's in Justice League.
I think that what I would have liked to have seen is him as Batman in like there's a lot of those scenes in Batman vs Superman that are you kind of look at it and you go, fuck, that's a cool Batman. And you kind of think like if that character was explored a little bit more, maybe some of the more like him killing people was brought back just a little bit.
Yeah.
And he wasn't made like that could work out really well and all that. Just
he definitely could have worked in the tone that movie was going for if so many other factors were different.
Yeah.
A big problem with him was casting a 45-year-old man as Batman. Like that was in like a fledgling cinematic universe. That was so dumb.
And also I think they wanted to go with an older Batman, but he wasn't a really old Batman. He was kind of like somewhere in the middle. And
He's been operating for a long time.
I think they need to push it to the extremes a little bit more. I think they either need to go really young or really old. I think he was just kind of slap bang in the middle, and it was not too dissimilar to Christian Bale's Batman. I'm not excluding Batman Begins, obviously, because that's the origin story. I feel like they could have maybe given it a little something else. And you're right, Connor. If they'd had the opportunity to explore that Batman, I think there was a lot there. Yeah. We always go back to that scene in Justice League where he's in the basement and he's fucking all those people up, or in that warehouse.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like the stylization of how he was attacking people was different and awesome.
Easily the best Batman action scene in live action.
Yeah. And like, I feel like...
If you're looking at like the best hand-to-hand Batman fight.
Yeah.
For you. But like I just kind of wanted to quickly comment on what you said, George. I actually think I love where they went. I don't need them to go to the extremes. I don't need an incredibly young Batman. I don't need an incredibly old Batman. I love where they were at this tenure. Like there's a lot that had obviously happened in this career. Like there was the insinuation that he had lost Robin. There was just so much of what is usually the focus of Batman that had already happened to this character. So I kind of loved that. I thought that that's such a cool place to start with this character.
I'm glad for the most part they didn't bother with an origin story. Certainly.
Well, exactly. Again. Yeah, they did the quick thing at the beginning, which was stylized, and it was during the credits, and so
the worst possible version of his origin.
Where the dad
where
was
Thomas fucking attacks first.
Yeah.
Tries to get a fucking badass Thomas Wayne. It ruins the whole character. It ruins the whole character.
It
explains why he's so unhinged.
Sense, if nothing else. But I didn't just ignoring that. I mean, there's just. I think there's so much potential with that Batman, and if I was Ben Affleck, I'd be fucking frustrated with this shit too.
Yeah,
Can you imagine getting handed Batman? You're like fucking taking this to the bank. DC's like, we're gonna launch you're gonna be the next Tony Stark, all this kind of shit. And I mean, I think they went about it entirely the wrong way.
Yeah.
But still, you'd be looking at this as like my fucking golden ticket, and they present you with this shit. And you're like, well, fuck me, I don't want to be involved with this.
Yeah, I am glad for us and for him that he's out of this role. Definitely time to start fresh with that character.
Yeah.
So on that note, Matt Reeves has come out and said that this movie, The Batman, will feature Batman in his detective mode. Sorry, more in his detective mode than we've seen in films, and will feature a rogues gallery. So we're seeing multiple of his villains, which I really like that idea. Batman has so many characters that you can bring in, and he's got such an interesting relationship with all of his villains. Kind of working together in ways that it's much more interesting than having just Batman versus the new villain of the week. I'm very keen for what Matt Reeves is going to do with this movie, especially now that DC is in fuck it mode, like I said last week, and they're just kind of starting fresh and doing different things.
I'm intrigued about this detective mode thing because Batman in the comics is the detective. He is that 1940s gangster. Like, he's got that throwback vibe in the comics, and they haven't really been able to embrace that in the movies. He's always been a little more superhero movie. He's always had to have like that larger than life thing, and I hope they can go down the more of on the sidewalk or on the buildings, like gritty, stripped back, investigative Batman. I think I'm intrigued. I'm really intrigued with this direction they're going down. And I'm intrigued about how they handle his integration in the DCEU. Is Batman fully gone now? Are they going to give Ben Affleck's Batman an end of the story? Like, what the fuck's going to happen now? Or is it just like they just turn up and we just go with it now? Like, Jason Momoa's there, the new Batman's there. It's just a hodgepodge and you just sort of go with it and don't ask too many questions.
I honestly think they're just going to go with that.
Yeah.
Because it's
the
cleanest way.
I don't hate it.
Yeah. Like,
it's the cleanest way.
Like just leave everything else hanging. It's fine.
Yeah.
We don't want to know more about Steppenwolf. Yeah. It's all right. Next up, we got a surprise first look at the Birds of Prey.
Yeah. What's the first? It's Birds of Prey and the
Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I didn't even look at that.
Yeah, well done.
That's DC fanboy.
Not much here. Just a few flashes of characters in what could be their final costumes, I guess. Yeah. Harley Quinn looking very disco.
What are the chances that this is good?
Like 100%. It's DC, bro.
Yeah.
Did you not see Aquaman?
You willing to bet a stake on that?
No, we can't be doing subjective bets.
Good. What is good?
We come out and we're just like, it's great.
No, Ben, I would like to do that because I would like to see George for a stake try and defend that movie if it's shit.
No, I can't be defending that. But listen, I'm willing. I'm on a DC high right now.
Me too.
So I'm willing to give it every chance possible.
Yeah, I think they could definitely be onto something here with this premise. I don't know. It's fun. People connected with Harley Quinn as played by Margot Robbie. Mm-hmm. I honestly can't really stand the character of Harley Quinn in general, but I think at least they've got a very talented actress there, and she's taking on more
producer role,
more of a producing role, which speaks well to the project.
Yes.
Not much else to talk about there. But then we got a bit more news. Suicide Squad 2 will now be titled The Suicide Squad and will hit theaters on August 6, 2021, so not long after The Batman.
Reboot.
Being written by James Gunn, who is also in talks to direct. It's being called a relaunch, George, with mostly an all-new cast of characters and actors.
I'm an idiot.
So yeah, they're already essentially rebooting the Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad.
So who do you think will be replaced?
Will Smith, get rid of him, bro. See ya.
I think
Will Smith and Margot Robbie are widely considered to be the two best parts of that film.
Well, they were the big stars in it. I think
get Kinnaman back.
I would like to see Harley Quinn not involved in this because why was she even in the first one apart from being a popular character? And Will Smith was obviously very enthusiastic about the project, but he maybe feels a bit burned by it. It was successful, but it was widely hated, so I don't know. I could see him coming back if he wants to. I'm sure they'll find a way. But starting fresh just seems like a great idea. It seems like the star of this movie is going to be James Gunn.
Yeah. He's going to know exactly what to do. I think he's going to be like really motivated by wanting to prove wanting to be a massive middle finger to Marvel.
Yeah, to Disney.
I think this is going to be. It'll be really interesting to see how this turns out.
I would actually feel good by that story. Like, just having James Gunn come out and be like, fuck you, Marvel, for that knee-jerk fucking reaction of firing him.
Yep. Okay, do we want to see our Aussie friend Crocodile Rock? His name's escaping me right
Captain
now.
Boomerang?
Captain Boomerang.
Jai Courtney?
Jai Courtney.
Nope.
Joy.
I love the character of Captain Boomerang, and obviously if he were to come back, it would have to be Jai Courtney again, because I don't think they're going to break continuity that much. I would like to see him back. I would like to see a different interpretation of him.
They care more about Boomerang Man than Batman in the continuity.
Yeah, totally. I think he's a fun character. I love all these really goofy C-list villains that they get for these teams. I think that's the whole charm of it. His execution in the last one was pathetic. He didn't even throw a boomerang, which is so fucking dumb. But yeah, I would like to see a kind of a soft reboot and keep a couple characters maybe. No, none of that 5 foot tall Killer Croc again. That was so dumb. Bring in King Shark, make him CGI and 10 feet tall. That would be much better. The concept of Suicide Squad has so much mileage. I think we're all pretty excited for that first one based on the trailers, and it was such a letdown. I don't know how you fucked that up. I don't know how they fucked it up.
Oh, they got a fucking trailer company to edit their film. That's how they fucked it up.
No, there was no salvaging that movie from the looks of it.
And he's the guy to do ensembles, case in point, Guardians 1 and 2. So listen, he's a great choice for this, and I wish him all the best. I hope he gets to direct it.
Yeah, me too. And one final bit of DC news, just a little thing that slipped out. They are working on an animated Batman Beyond film after the success of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I saw that.
Yeah, so Terry McGinnis and old Bruce Wayne could be headed our way in theaters. Batman Beyond Lord. Is fantastic. Yeah, I know you got a real soft spot for it, George.
I love this. For some reason, this show, for me, I really connected with it when I was a kid. I loved the original animated series from '94. But this one, it had this sci-fi aspect, and it was different, and reinterpretations of characters that you knew, but they were... it was very, very interesting, and I loved the father-son relationship with Bruce Wayne and Terry. So, listen, if they can do something similar, it doesn't have to be similar to Spider-Man, but with that same kind of adult or
just quality.
I don't even know how to describe it. I don't even know how to describe what Spider-Man
if they just keep the quality
is.
of the original show and make that into a movie,
it's very dark.
That's all it needed.
It's very dark.
Yeah.
And we know that dark equals good.
Exactly. Yeah, the movie Batman Beyond Return of the Joker is amazing.
That's one of the best.
It's probably my favorite Joker story out of those animated movies.
Mark Hamill's in there, right?
Yeah, because that's all part of the DCAU, the animated Bruce Timm universe. So that's very encouraging.
DC, baby!
Speaking of DC, next up, Zack Snyder, old pal, will direct Army of the Dead for Netflix. I've got a quote here. There are no handcuffs on me at all with this one. It's reported to have a $90 million budget and is about a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas.
He's going back.
Back to zombies.
Back to the OG.
Having a refresh, yeah.
I really think, I've given Zack Snyder my fair share of shit over the years, but I think how everything was handled at Warner Brothers, I feel sorry for the guy, and I think he had a vision and he didn't get to execute that vision.
What are you talking about?
He got pulled off Justice League.
Well, he didn't get pulled off Justice League. His daughter died.
All reports indicate he was fired.
That was the sort of cloak or the what would you call it? Deviation or the excuse.
Yeah, and the movie was clearly very heavily retooled in a different direction from what he was making.
So do you think that movie would have been better the way that Snyder had it?
I definitely think so. Because I think BVS is better than Justice League by a mile.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I was just thinking about this recently. Sorry, I'll let you get
right
back to it.
That's basically what I wanted to say.
But I was just thinking about Justice League. I was just angry about it. I think it's like the worst superhero film ever committed to the cinema. Because I was reading about The Amazing Spider-Man, the Garfield one, and just how bad I think those movies are. And I was saying, I think these are the worst. And I was like, no, it's Justice League. Just under them. Yeah,
it's got a pretty much... I'm trying to think of anything... Green Lantern might edge in there somewhere. But yeah, it's got to be among the worst. I mean, I think that Snyder is such a for me, is such a hit and miss kind of person that, the project that he's been attached to, the projects that he's directed. It's just, he's very stylized in that sense, which is very hit and miss with me. If there's no substance behind the stylization, then it's just pretty lights.
He's only made one movie that I think is just good with no caveats or asterisks, and that's his first feature film,
Dawn of the Dead,
which I think is just a really great zombie flick. Every other one of his movies, even the ones I really like,
What about Watchmen?
I'd probably chuck Watchmen right at the top there, but there's still issues. There's a lot of issues. I think that movie really misinterprets the original graphic novel, but I still think it's great.
As a standalone film, I think that's a really solid.
I have a soft spot for that.
I've watched
kind
the
of
4
turned
hour
against
cut.
it,
Yeah.
and now I'm coming back around to it because I think it needs a bit. I don't know. People don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
And I think that he tried to basically turn the pages into a movie, and you have to respect that in some way. It's an interesting project.
Yeah. And I think 300 and Man of Steel have a lot of strengths to them.
Yep.
And a lot of weaknesses.
Sucker Punch,
I think is 0
the
out
best.
0 out of 10. 0 out of 10.
He's also got, funnily enough, we were talking about this before, Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole is also directed by him, which, again, is a very stylized, beautiful-looking film that maybe lacks a little bit more of the
story and whatnot.
The story side. To be fair, though, I don't hate that film.
No, it's beautiful.
It's got a bit of a soft spot.
It's like 2010 beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't remember a thing about it, so I can't give it a rating on any level.
Yep.
Anyway, he's making a new zombie movie, and it sounds pretty cool.
I'm keen.
So following on with what I was saying, Zack Snyder plus zombies equals good. So
that's the equation.
Hopefully
That's
you can do that.
That's what that is. That's just mathematics.
It's science right there. And also, this will be another. We may talk about this in our Velvet Buzzsaw review, but Netflix has been doing a lot of good work getting great directors in and giving them a lot of freedom. And has that been working out or not for them? This will be another bit of evidence one way or the other, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, even if it doesn't work, at least they're giving everyone the opportunity to execute the creative vision that they want to.
I think a lot of the time Netflix has been a good example in favor of producers, though. Like people to rein directors in, because a lot of their original stuff just hasn't been working for me. But we'll have to see how this one works out for Zach.
I'm keen though. I'm excited to see him get back in the seat.
Yeah, and not have to deal with some of all that bullshit. Finally, Leigh Whannell, Australia's own, will direct The Invisible Man for Universal through Blumhouse Productions. I've got a quote here from Universal. The movie is part of a fresh strategy for the Universal Monsters properties, bringing creative directors with distinctive visions to the classic characters. I think this is exactly what they said for the last time they tried to do the Dark Universe. But this is encouraging news.
Didn't we say this from
I think we said
review?
Exactly this.
Like, get Blumhouse on this shit.
Yeah, this is exactly what they should have done with the Dark Universe from the beginning. Not try and set up this Marvel Cinematic Universe with the Mummy and the Werewolf Man.
What they should do is they should focus on 3 or 4 really solid films with little to no references about a larger universe, and then, but with in mind that that's where they want to go, and then you can start to show small little things that parallel, and then kind of build up your little army. I don't know how many times companies need to try and fail the all-at-once kitchen sink approach to building a universe, but eventually someone's going to have to learn the lesson. Start small with a grand vision, and then build up to that vision.
It's an interesting point because really, Marvel's the only one who's done this right. Who else has done a good cinematic universe?
I will give kudos to not the Dark Universe, but the Monster Universe.
The Conjureverse?
Not the Conjureverse. Although,
I mean, that's, I think, another
slightly
example.
Kudos to them as well.
One.
No, Godzilla one. What's the
Pacific Rim?
No, Godzilla.
Godzilla and King Kong.
Transformers?
Yep, that's it. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. We haven't seen anything.
In my head, the new Godzilla film is fantastic, so I'm just assuming that's already a hit.
The trailer's fantastic.
Also, no indication that Johnny Depp is going to be in the role of the Invisible Man, which Universal originally cast him as. Remember they did that photo shoot where they had all these huge name actors in these roles.
They'll never
and
be there.
It's never going to happen. So
I
bad.
I love Leigh Whannell, man. I always want that guy to succeed, but I reckon it'd be tough for him dealing with Johnny Depp on set,
Oh,
man.
God.
I don't think he's got
He
the
gets
experience
steamrolled.
right now.
He gets steamrolled, yeah.
He doesn't have the experience right now. Funnily enough, Leigh Whannell was also in the news about he's doing the script for Escape from New York, the reboot. Or the refresh. So that's the new word we're using now.
Possibly directing.
Yeah. I'm glad he's getting his name out there in the mix. You know, James Wan has always been kind of like the head guy. Nobody's really talked about Leigh Whannell, even though they worked so closely together in the early part of their career.
Yeah.
They still work together a lot. I'm glad he's getting out there and he's becoming more of a recognized name.
Yeah. Do you think there should be an Escape from New York reboot?
I don't think so.
I think they should leave all that John Carpenter stuff alone. It's
a hard one. It's so of that era. It's so John Carpenter.
Also, I feel like Kurt Russell roles are a lot like Harrison Ford roles. Like he is the character.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell, man, he could still play Snake Plissken. Bring him in for a third one.
Yeah, do it.
Right now. It'll be better than the second one.
Yeah. Do a sequel, not a reboot.
Yeah.
Or refresh, refresh.
Yeah, that's what they did with Indiana Jones too.
Yeah. Don't bring that up.
Yeah. Hey, look, they're going to have another stab at it probably. Maybe that'll be the good one.
Do you know the only thing that makes me not really, I guess, want to see another Indiana Jones, but it's just the fact that Harrison Ford seems to really love that character. That means, let him do another one.
Only thing he has any enthusiasm
he
for.
He hates Han Solo and he loves Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
like, what?
so funny. Poor guy.
Yeah, got it all wrong.
Maybe when they pull the plug on Star Wars next year, they'll just start making only an Indiana Jones universe.
All right, boys, what time is it?
It's Super Bowl trailer time.
Is that a Rick and Morty talking heads thing?
It kind of was. Wasn't it?
Show me
Show
what
us what
you
you
got.
All right, so we got a lot of Super Bowl spots. Obviously, the first on our list is Avengers Endgame. 30-second little spot, but also very cool. So this is pretty much a confirmation that it starts about what, couple years, 10 years, some time after the events of the Snapping. Is that what it's called?
The Fappening.
The Decimation is the official
Decimation.
name, which doesn't make any sense. I'm going to stick with the Snapping.
That makes
Yeah, I
more
like
sense.
the Snapping.
Yeah.
I also like the idea that in universe they call it that, and most of the people on Earth have no idea what the snap means. Why is it we call it the snapping?
We just knew that people disappeared, but why is it snapping?
Yeah.
Did you take it as that many years after? You look at it as years.
I don't think it really lent in any direction on that front.
There's obviously enough time for there to be
A poster printed
for support groups, and a poster that does not look new. So there's at least a couple
point.
years, I think.
Interesting. I didn't even think that. I thought sort of maybe 3 months or 6 months.
No, because in my head, if
Interesting.
you're going to set up a support group, that doesn't you don't lose half the population and then go support group.
Yeah.
That comes in
Time.
once you've figured out, can we survive?
Once you've stopped the rioting.
Yeah. Once all that's through, and they're like, all right, let's kumbaya together type shit. Just maybe they haven't thought of it that far. But in my head, that means at least a couple years, if not 10.
Very interesting.
We also get a few shots that seem to be directly after the last movie. Just some Wakanda stuff, mostly Thor, I think. And then, of course, we get Tony in space working with Nebula.
Yeah.
Which is
Making
a new development. I love that shot of Steve at that group. Just looking pissed and sad.
That's probably the best acting he's done in the entire MCU.
That shot. I love it. And now, of course, there's a bit of controversy surrounding this trailer.
Yeah.
Censorship.
Cropping people.
fucking Marvel.
Yeah.
These shills.
So-
They're fucking shills, and they're all lizards, and they've cropped people out, man. It's a conspiracy.
It's the New World Order. Obviously, in Infinity War and a few of their other trailers, they've done a lot of work hiding potential spoilers.
Or adding things
Or
in
adding
and-
completely
yeah.
new scenes that don't appear in the film. And there, fair enough, does appear to be a few shots in this movie that could have a character
Just
removed.
some spacing issues that look like they've cropped someone out. Which, fine, fuck it.
Yeah,
It could
I
also
liked
be a
all of what
ruse.
they did with
speculation as who was missing?
Captain Marvel,
Yeah, I'm
probably.
going to go with that.
I'm thinking possibly Hulk.
Okay.
Just because I think his appearance in the movie is good. Because we've seen from like toys and stuff, they all get these new uniforms and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Or it could be even Tony.
Yeah.
If in those situations
Totally.
he's back. Like, I mean, it could very well be that Tony gets back in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, well, Kevin Feige said, somewhat nebulously, but for the most part, the advertising for this movie is going to be stuff from the first 20 minutes of the film. I don't know how true that holds to what we've seen in this trailer. I can buy that for the other trailer, definitely. But I love that idea.
Yeah.
And I want to see as little
This
of this
is
as
broad
possible.
brushstrokes. This is not.
Yeah.
We're not getting a lot of detail here.
No,
And-
not at all.
And I
Interestingly,
like that. I really like that.
Did not see Thanos at all.
No.
Which again
So-
makes me really think that I think it's so cool that Infinity War was very much his film, and Endgame I think is going to be able to kind of bring it back. It's not going to be as much about Thanos. Like, he's obviously still the threat. He's the bad guy, but he's had his movie.
But is he the threat? Because I've heard some rumors that maybe
Whoa.
there is another bad guy.
Oh, yeah. A lot of talk about that. There's a bigger threat. And
Yeah.
Thanos is on the team.
Yeah, bring him on.
Yeah. We forgive you.
Yeah.
I heard something funny the other day that makes a bit of sense. It's just that with Doctor Strange dead, spoilers, Dormammu could just fucking stroll back in. And be
Yeah,
like,
I read that
guys,
as well.
I'm back. I'm a big
Yeah.
head in the sky.
Yeah. I
How
heard that as
disappointing
well.
would that be, though?
Yeah,
Fuck.
that would be.
I think there's very interesting things you could do with Dormammu that they have not done up to this point. So I wouldn't.
He has
Yeah,
to be
he's such a-
he
like
has
a-
to be recontextualized a lot.
Yeah.
There's
And
too
I-
much
no,
baggage.
You know what? I disagree, though. I think that they should stick with Thanos. They've had such an awesome arc with that character. I mean, there's so much more to explore, and they don't have to worry about building that character back up. I mean, yeah, just fucking don't try and introduce a new bad guy just for novelty's sake. Stick with Thanos.
I reckon full on Fast and Furious, Deckard Shaw, Jason Statham, get him on the team.
Yeah.
And everyone just forgets that he's a murderous fucking
Yeah,
villain.
exactly. Like, I mean, that's so dumb.
Nah, do it.
But this, the final thing I'll say about this is it looks like a very different movie to Infinity War.
Yeah.
This looks like a lot darker,
Well, it looks
better,
a lot more
darker equals
grounded.
better.
The other one was really fantastical. It was like,
yeah, bright, cosmic. At least for this trailer, is a lot more of a dour.
I hope the movie is more grounded. Like, severely just more characters
On the ground.
Although having said
interacting,
that, I highly
on the
doubt
ground,
it.
yeah.
It's the last film in what has been, I mean, like, a huge journey for these characters. They're going to make it pretty spectacular. I think the first half might be pretty kind of dour and grounded, but the second half I think will kick off.
What have we got? What have we got? 2 months?
2.5. I was literally about to
Two
say
and
that
a half
exact
months.
sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, go. Yeah, so this is an interesting period of time. This could be the only point left in human history that we like. If the movie's bad, this could be the best period for the Marvel Cinematic Universe ever.
Yeah,
Coming off the
probably.
high of that last
This could
one.
just be the
if
end
this
of
next
an
movie
era.
sucks, this is the only
Yeah.
good period we've got left.
Yeah.
for the Marvel
We've got.
Cinematic
I
Universe.
mean, Captain Marvel comes out in about a month, so
Yeah.
about a month.
Speaking of which,
We've got a quick Captain Marvel spot as well.
Cookie.
higher,
Also,
better,
about 30
faster,
seconds.
stronger.
Yeah, I really like this trailer.
Me
It's just
too.
it's very much about the audio. Loved the audio editing, whatever that is.
Or is it the sound mixing?
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
can I can never tell. Nothing given away. It's just action shots, but just I like the look of this film. I think it'll be a really fun ride if the trailers are anything to go by.
I've been the most skeptical out of us, and
Yeah.
this was a cool trailer.
I've liked the trailers and this film increasingly with each trailer.
Yeah.
So I'm
Just Jude Law's face.
getting up there. It's
Yeah,
just
you can't
pissing you off
stand
too
him.
much.
Don't do that, Feige.
We also had another little spot, which was Alita Battle Angel. Very quick little. Again, I think it was like 30 seconds.
Mostly more of the same.
Yeah, just more of the same. I think I don't know. I have this weird sense that this movie is going to be good. I won't be surprised.
Is
if
it
it's
all
bad.
the positive reviews that have come out?
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't know that there was positive reviews until you mentioned it, like just before we started the podcast. But, I've maintained that I have a good feeling about this film. Having said that, I won't be surprised if it's shit, but I've got a good feeling.
Yeah, I've
just made the most
Yeah.
broad caveat, like, just like anywhere it lands, I won't be surprised.
It could be a 1 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Or one of the 8 numbers in the middle.
Yeah, I want, either way.
I kind of want to hate this movie, but if it's good, I will say I was wrong. I will be the bigger man.
Ben, do you see him backtracking like already?
No, I said I want to hate this movie. I really don't like.
Stick
I'm
with
not.
it. No,
You do hate it,
hedging your
George.
bets.
If it's a good
Be
movie
you.
though, and in the
You
cinema,
be you.
I won't. I will give my review, and I will say that was good.
Yeah.
Everyone.
That's good. Because we have goddamn ethics in journalism.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
The most ethical movie podcast.
Because
on
I
the
know,
net.
if you really hate a movie before you go to, like, you can always tell when George walks into the theater. Just the movie starts and he's like,
yeah,
It's going to have to work hard to win you over.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah, I hope it's good. I don't hate the look of this movie. That real chunky dude in this trailer, though,
the weird headgear and
the real giant
yeah.
dude. He I couldn't help but laugh at him. I hope he's not in the movie too much.
We've also got a full trailer for Hobbs and Shaw.
Fast and Furious
presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
And I really loved this trailer.
I loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I have always been an advocate for the Fast and Furious films. They are utterly ridiculous. They are bad films in so many ways, but I can never help but enjoy myself for these films. I think they've boiled it down to the lowest common denominator, and they just said, like, let's drill this home. And I mean, I think that they'll do that again with this one.
What do you think, Benny?
Hey, it looks like they're onto another winner. I didn't love the trailer too much, but I'm absolutely there for the chemistry between those leads.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally into it. The whole super soldier Idris Elba thing is
Cringy.
interesting.
No, I love that. I really like that.
I do like the idea that they need a goddamn superhuman to combat The Rock because he is one.
Do you know what I was thinking? I was like, this is the obvious next step in the franchise, because they've gone from being people that race in the back streets of LA to they are now basically superheroes. Like they went from outlaws to like secret agents to kung fu masters to now superheroes.
I am so all in for their next movie. They're all just getting costumes and being actual superheroes. I'm fucking all about that.
they'll be in
it's been
space.
gradual. It's been 7 movies.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's weird. It's like,
Wasn't it gradual, like 4 and then 5?
Yeah, but it was not even. Like, I mean, it's like that frog that sits in the water that you kind of like slowly turn it up so it doesn't realize it's being boiled alive.
Frogs,
like, it's just like I feel like it's been like that. Like, the one was so, I mean, comparatively grounded, and it's just gotten more and more and more ridiculous by these like little increments, to the point where when you're watching like 5 and 6. It doesn't even like it's not a jarring thing to watch. You're like, oh yeah, you just feel like they've always been doing this. You're like, wait,
Was this about street racing?
Yeah, like this is 6 movies. Like, if you went back and watched the first Fast and Furious, that's a fucking bizarre movie to watch now, because you're like, oh, this is not like where's the gunfights and
when do they save the world?
Yeah, exactly. It's just so ridiculous.
Well, he's just changing oil and shit.
Yeah. I don't understand.
Why are there cars in this movie?
Yeah.
But they have amazing on-screen chemistry. I'm really pumped for this. And I'm not a big fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, and this really won me over.
Yeah. It'll be
Nothing revolutionary, just really well executed across the board.
So we got that. We got a really cool trailer for Twilight Zone.
Jordan Peele presents.
Killing it as usual.
Yeah.
Very simple trailer. Him just walking down.
Well, it interrupted the game, the Super Bowl. Like, they actually made it look like the broadcast was fucking
did
up.
they really?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Yeah, it's on the beginning of the trailer there, and then it's just him walking around the football area, the place.
With the grass and the lawn.
The grass place.
There's a door.
Yeah, and then you get some little allusions to the original series. The theme comes in a bit. It's good.
I've never seen the Twilight Zone, but I've always been a fan of Monster of the Week or, just sort of anthology series. You got me onto Masters of Horror all those years ago, Benny. I mean, I love that
I was watching a bit of that the other day.
So,
it's on Stan.
Oh, for real?
Is it really?
Oh, I got to get Stan. Fuck no.
Twilight Zone, I bought the box set years ago and watched through
Cool.
it. There's definitely like a
Gems.
lot of episodes you don't need to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some great stuff in there. And Twilight Zone, the movie, is
There's
awesome.
been 2. There's been one in the 60s and one in the 80s, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which
I
one?
saw the 60s one. The Rod
60s
Serling
one. Okay.
present. It's so... he's very charming. It's very kitschy and old.
Particular episodes, like there's like a handful that I must see on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Let's check those on.
Yeah.
We've also got a little trailer for Toy Story 4.
Oh, man.
I'm curious to figure out why you hated this one so much, George. I mean, I thought it was fine. Like again, it's not like a full trailer. It's nothing much to it.
I'm just nothing in these marketing materials for Toy Story 4 gives me any confidence. It looks amazing. I love Jordan Peele. I love Key, what is his name? What's the other dude's?
Keegan-Michael Key.
Key.
Mr. Key.
Fuck.
Well, it's Key and Peele, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Looks
So
like-
there's actually Peele has 3 little spots.
Yeah,
in
he
this.
does.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like kind of same shit, different day. Like,
I don't know,
Buzz
man.
and Woody, they're lost again.
They lost again.
They gotta
go on an
do the thing
adventure.
again.
The one thing I did notice in this, and this was something that you've mentioned before, Ben, is that the animation has gotten to the point where when you first watch Toy Story, it's like, oh, it's toys that come to life.
Yeah.
Now the animation is so realistic that it's kind of like, it just
They're just
feels
little
like an
beings.
animation.
Like, can you imagine
yeah.
picking one of them up and just feeling like a little fleshy creature?
Yeah,
Be like,
that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like.
Bo
Yeah.
Peep no longer looks like a porcelain lamp like she did in the first one.
She,
Yeah,
that
she's
was
She's got like a full dress and
that was
everything.
the most shocking
activewear
thing.
Bo Peep.
What is happening? Yeah.
That was weird.
I'm not around it. Officially.
I love how
Officially.
like that's now a thing.
Peter's trying to shut the movie down though.
Really?
They've issued a statement. They're like, Bo Peep, she can't have her crook for, the big
Oh,
hook
yeah,
for sheep.
yeah.
She's like, get rid of that. It's
Damn.
evil and cruel.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What about ducks?
Peter, I'll be
Ducks
honest.
kicking spacemen.
Pete-
Ducks
Peter-
shouldn't be subjected to that.
I'll be honest. Peter's just got to fuck off. I mean, whether like irrespective
Here
of
we go.
I'm not making any commentary
you,
on like
animals.
whether you should like love or hate animals like that. That's fine. You have your opinions, but PETA as an organization is one of the most hypocritical bullshit organizations on the face of the planet. Such.
Did you see
nonsense.
that clam? That guy who has a clam. He's got a clam store in America, and him and
Oh, they started feuding
Yeah,
over the billboards and
Peter-
shit.
Peter him
That
on
was
Twitter.
brilliant because he was like, "How many
very
animals
funny,
did you
very
kill
funny.
last year, Peter?"
Listen,
Because they kill a lot of animals for you.
listen and talk about it.
Fucking funny. Anyways, we've got Del Toro's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Little mini spots.
10 seconds.
So he's producing this film based on the children's book of the same name, which is a bunch of short stories. This movie looks similar to kind of the Goosebumps approach of just taking a whole bunch of different stories and kind of putting them into the one thing.
Okay, cool.
It reminded me of was it Tales from the Crypt Keeper?
Yeah, that's kind of a similar Tales
Same
from the Crypt.
thing,
Yeah, just little scary stories. It's the director of the original Troll Hunter film and
Oh, nice.
the Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Oh yeah.
Who's
Didn't love that.
me
Didn't hate
either?
it.
Me either. A lot of people did though. But Troll Hunter, I fucking adore. That movie's
That was the
brilliant.
Norwegian one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Very cool.
So cool director. And he has captured the illustrations from that book spectacularly.
And this one looks very much like it's going to be not body horror, but maybe a little body horror in some of them. It's just going to be very visceral and
super
visual.
grotesque. Like
Yeah.
really, like, because, his Stephen Gamble, the illustrator from the original books, there's some really
Psycho.
disturbing imagery. And the third trailer we saw for this of the woman, the
Yeah.
really pale, large
skin.
woman with the
Gelatinous.
black,
Yeah.
so creepy. I'm amazed they're staying that committed to the original vision for in a, like a
Kinda
family film.
reminds me of the design from Mama as well.
There's some very
There's that
clear.
Del
Well, I was
Toro
thinking that
isms.
actor might be there for that first one with the missing toe.
Very much
Seemed
so.
possibly, yeah.
Definitely.
I'm
Yeah.
game for that anyway.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited. Got 2 more trailers here.
Sweet. We've got we've got we do have 2 more. Us, Jordan Peele's 3rd appearance in the Super Bowl. Impressive motherfucker.
He's the real winner.
but I don't even know what to say about this trailer.
Same
it's
thing,
creepy
really.
as fuck. There's nothing really new about it, but
A few little extra details here and there, but on the whole, very similar.
Yeah.
Just kind of like more of just a compressed version of that trailer.
Very keen.
On board. On board.
yeah. Finally, we have What We Do in the Shadows.
The TV adaptation.
Little TV
Is this
adaptation.
like, okay, this might be a really dumb question, but this is set in America, right?
yeah,
Looks
New
like it,
York.
yeah.
Okay, so this is like a reboot. This is not, this
This
is
is a
separate.
reboot because it pretty much draws directly from it. There's some scenes that look like they're like just lifted straight out of the original
Cool.
movie.
I'm
But
on-
it's a
I'm
series
on board.
as opposed to a film, and it involves Taika Waititi. So I mean, there's a lot of, and I think it's co-produced by Jermaine Clement. So it's like there's a lot of things about it that kind of tick boxes that I imagine would have worried a lot of people.
And it looks funny.
Looks fantastic. I really enjoyed this movie when I watched it last year, and I'm in for this. Some really, really funny scenes. That bit where the skeleton, he sends it a light. I thought it was fucking great.
And it's got Matt Berry in it, which is always gold.
It certainly is. I don't know who that is.
So that was the guy that does the
Toast of
Fandango guy.
that dude.
So
The guy who you brought up straight away when you saw him.
when I finished Toast of London, I think about 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that, because it's all on Netflix. I recommend Toast of London to anyone and everyone. But ever since seeing that, I was like, Matt Berry needs to be in more things. People need to recognize that talent and just fucking put it into every movie possible. Like, he's so fucking funny.
Hobbs and Shaw and Matt Berry.
I'd do it. I'd fucking watch that.
That'd be
in a
great.
heartbeat.
Avengers Endgame and Matt Berry.
Let's cap things off with question of the week. We got a question from Anthony DeRiso. Thank you, my man. The question is, what is your favorite villain and hero name from any film? Doesn't have to be the same film, obviously. Cool.
I'll go first if you guys are still thinking about yours.
I am.
One name that always pops up in my mind when I think about names is Ozymandias, which I believe is there's a couple of heroes and villains called that, but the one that jumps to mind is the one out of Watchmen. I love that name. It kind of rolls off the tongue. There's so much kind of history behind it.
Look upon my works and weep.
Yeah.
I actually thought of that when I saw the question as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I probably thought about it first.
So technically, I get that point, right? So that's one that jumps out to me. The other one was that has always, since I was a little kid, stood out to me as a really awesome protagonist name is Luke Skywalker. Just that name Skywalker, for whatever reason, as a kid, I just felt like that was the coolest name out there.
Totally.
That was it. So,
originally Sky Killer in
Star
the
Killer.
first Star Killer. There's a fact for you.
I suppose there could be an honorable mention goes to Star-Lord for
Who?
Star-Lord? As a kind of funny, cool name. But yeah, I'll put that as Luke Skywalker and Ozymandias as my favorite hero and villain names.
Nice. I might go next, if that's
Go for it.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go pretty generic here with villain, but I think it's similar to you, Connor, in that it's kind of that sort of one of the first things you ever saw. Darth Vader. I think Darth Vader there's no way that's a hero's name. Or it could be an anti-hero's name, as we've seen with all the... Yeah, well, let's not get into that. But I think it just invokes fear. That name, it could not be anything else.
All of the Sith have such... Because they're all just a slight spin on a bad word.
Darth Maul and
then
Sidious.
Kylo Ren as well. I think that's a really cool reinterpretation of the whole Sith convention that they went for. And I think pretty generic, but there's some good ass villain names. And then I think you know what? I think I'm gonna go with Marty McFly for hero name.
Nice, yeah.
I just think it's got this sweet innocence to it, and it perfectly fits that character. The alliteration works really well.
McFly.
Just spot on.
As soon as I saw this question, my mind immediately went to the Coen brothers because no one does names like the Coen brothers. My online handle for over a decade now, I think it's been Chad Feldheimer, Brad Pitt's character from Burn After Reading. People must think I'm the biggest dick when they see my name online because who the fuck is called Chad Feldheimer? But for hero, I have to say, and this is funny, this is Coen brothers movie, but they didn't create the character, Rooster Cogburn, Jeff Bridges' character from True Grit. I think that's just a fucking great name for a badass old cowboy. And for the villain, I have to go with Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. I think that's one that just sticks with you. It doesn't sound like a villain, doesn't sound particularly villainous, especially when people misinterpret it as sugar.
Yeah.
But
he'll come get you.
Yeah, just the juxtaposition with what a fucking scary dude that is, and then juxtaposition again with what a dorky haircut he has. Just Yeah, love it.
Yeah. What about the dude? Come on, bro.
The dude. Okay,
Jeff Lebowski.
I'll give you one of the ones that I would say is one of the worst names for a hero. I reckon is Superman, because when you really think about that name, it's so simplistic and it's so fucking like you could have thought of anything else. And
He was the first superhero.
I know.
The one upon which all others are based. He's
You mean
the original.
Superman or Clark Kent?
He is the ideal.
Superman.
He's the
But
mensch.
I just think that name,
I
when you
think
really
it's perfect.
think about it, when you really think about that name, it's just like, come on, mate. It's like,
Come on, mate.
Superman.
Yeah.
And really, a lot of superhero names. When you think about it and you kind of like say it over and over again, you think these are really dumb, like Batman and Iron Man.
Batman's a lot dumber.
Yeah, exactly.
Superman.
Like, I'm Batman, and you're like, okay,
Okay. Is that meant to strike fear or something?
yeah.
Also got to give a shout out to Schwarzenegger Commando Colonel John Matrix.
Yes.
That's a fucking badass name.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, pretty much all Schwarzenegger characters, really.
Yeah. John
Dutch.
Kruger, Mr. Freeze,
Yeah, not so much
Mr.
that one.
Freeze.
Victor Freeze.
T800.
Yeah, there's some. I do love a
do
little
love a
bit of
good
wordplay
name.
with those, and I mean, there's all those old Bond names that were just
God.
Yeah. The 70s, man. What a
beyond
time.
silly.
What a time. Well, there we have it. Thanks for the question, Anthony. Guys, don't forget you can hit us up on any internet sphere platform that you want.
Any website at all, just type our name in.
Seriously,
We'll be there.
We'll find it.
Yeah.
We'll fucking find it. Don't you worry. We'll be back next week with the Weekly News Show with the boys Connor,
See ya.
Benny.
See ya.
Well, it's a good thing our studio is a sauna.
I mean, yes. And can we put it on
Big the fan on
rotate
my
mode? Rotate mode.
Sorry, boys. Sorry,
Rotate mode.
Rotate mode. Rotate mode.